Do you ever feel like maybe you're too late and you've missed your opportunity? Hi, my name is Sam. I'm the host of the show Super Awesome You, Brave Enough Today. And as you've noticed, I've done a little bit of a cleanup around here in terms of the brand. A new logo might be forthcoming here soon. I obviously, since the beginning of the show, have been working on it and thinking a lot about it and which direction I would like it to go. And I think it's important to call out the fact that things can evolve and you are allowed to change and you are not too late. It's never too late to change your mind about something, to have a new idea and pursue that new idea and allow yourself to change, allow things in your life to change. That is what this podcast is ultimately all about. That's what this rebrand is all about. It is this realization as I've gotten older and recently celebrated my 40th birthday that it's really easy to feel that you are too late to something, and you're not. You are never too late, to be honest. The only time I would argue that you're too late is when your life is over. Not to be dark about it, but mortality is a real thing and we can hide from it all we want, but that's just unfortunately a fact of nature and the fact of this life. And I think in a way, as you get older, you can look at that in one of two ways. You can feel stymied by that and shrink away from it, or you can feel motivated by it and realize that you don't have an unlimited amount of time. And often, out of constraints in life, that's where we are most creative. If you've ever been given a blank sheet of paper and told to just create something, you know that that can be rather daunting and you have no idea where to start and what direction to go. But then if you are told draw a house or draw your dream house, all of a sudden you've given yourself some kind of playground to play in and you know exactly what you want to create. So I think as you look at the rest of your life and maybe you have that moment where you're thinking, "Oh my goodness, what have I done so far? What am I doing? Do I have enough time left? Am I too late?" That's when you realize that that constraint is very powerful. That limiting factor is what is going to help you put your life in focus and help you understand ideally what it is that you want to do and how you want to spend the rest of your life and how you want to spend every day going forward. As I've mentioned on the show, I have always wanted to build a successful career in the self development and self help space. And I have come back to it over and over and over again. And every single time in recent years that I have started it, I get distracted or I get easily discouraged or I feel like I'm too late. And I look at all these other successful people in that space and I think, oh, how am I ever going to compete with the Mel Robbins of the world and the Jay Shettys and these people who just have this massive following and can quite literally fill stadiums of people to hear them talk and are on New York Times bestsellers list any single time they release a new book. And I feel I am too late. And it is so easy to get discouraged by looking and comparing yourself to where other people are, and especially where you yourself want to be one day. And you just pack it all up, and your life remains the same, and you don't change, and you don't put in the effort. But it's not about taking that one leap all at once, right? What this show is all about, it's a reminder that you just need to be brave enough today. You need to be brave enough to take that one little step that's going to get you even remotely closer to being the next Mel Robbins or the next Jay Shetty. And for me, that was a rebrand of the show in recent weeks. That is working on a new logo. That is working on generating content pillars and figuring out who my audience is and how to speak to them. That is figuring out a goal I want to set for myself for this show for the next month, for the next year, for the next 5 years, for the next 10 years. That is ultimately all I need to do today. And I don't need to worry about the large outcome that might be 10 years away, might be 20 years away. Who knows? All I need to worry about is what do I need to do today to get a little bit closer to where I want to go. And again, it's that realization that I'm not too late. I do not need to feel discouraged because all I need to do is focus on that one step that's ahead of me. What is right in front of me that I can do today that is going to get me a little bit closer? Our brains are designed and like to play out the future. You give it a thought and it will just go nuts with it and play it out what you're doing today, what you're doing tomorrow, what you're doing 10 years from now. And in that exact moment, you have compressed 10 to 20 to 30 years of the rest of your life into a few seconds. And it's no wonder that you can feel panicky and anxiety, because that is a lot to process in a very, very compressed amount of time. So the whole idea of being present and of bringing it back to where you are today and all, where your feet are, as the title of that book is, Be Where Your Feet Are, or maybe I'm confusing it with a saying that I like, which is just be where your feet are. But the point is the whole point of being present is to remind yourself that you're here, and all you need to be is here, and all you need to think about is what is that next step that's right in front of you. The other reminder I like to give myself when I am feeling a little bit overwhelmed and comparing myself to the giants in this space and feeling like discouraged and thinking about how could I ever be like them is an analogy. The music industry has been around a very, very long time, right? Going all the way back to like the Beethoven drops of the day and Mozart releasing something new. And every single week, as I discuss, every month with my co-host Matt on the Super Awesome mixtape show, there's new music and there are new bands and new artists and new solos, and there are revitalization of old bands and there's re-releases, and the content is literally endless. What is magical about the music industry is that there are still individuals in this exact moment that are getting together, that are picking up an instrument, maybe for the first time, maybe for the 100th time, and they are writing songs or practicing songs, and they could be the next Rolling Stones, right? They could be the next generation giant rock band that in 50 years from now, they're still filling stadiums and playing their hearts out on stage. They are not discouraged, nor should you be. The industry and most industries have lots of room to accept newcomers. You are unique. You are different from anyone else who's ever done this before you. So while your message might be the same and the vertical you're playing in might be the same, you are competing technically with them because your material is similar or you want to be in the same business as them, but you are competing with an edge that no one can take away from you, which is that you are you. No one has lived your experiences. No one has woken up with your brain and their head. Like no one has your thoughts. No one has your perspective. No one has your viewpoints on things and your voice and the way that you can communicate them to others, or your instrument and the way that you play it, right? Or whatever the case may be, whatever your talent is, no one can take that away from you because that is yours and always will be yours. That is your superpower. That is what makes it possible for new musicians and bands to come together and become enormous, because they looked at a very crowded music space and they thought, you know what? I'm unique enough to create my own thing and also, shoot for the stars, so to speak, and have a plan to be successful themselves. So don't get discouraged just because a million other people are doing it or because a billion people have done it before you, like in the case of the music industry that's been around for thousands of years in some way, shape, or form. I know Mozart didn't have a recording studio, or a recording, you know, company putting out records and vinyls for him. Anyway, I'm having a lot of fun with that analogy. My point is that you do not need to be discouraged by all the number of people who've done it before you, because no one has done it as you. And that is a really cool thing to remind yourself of. So you are not too late. You have never been too late. The only way that you are late is if you do not start. And that is the number one way to ensure that you do not succeed, right? You will never succeed if you never actually start. Your only shot at succeeding is by putting in the work, by showing up and taking those little steps. How fast or how slow you want to go is entirely up to you. You can do just a little bit every day for 5 or 10 years because that's all that you've got the mental space for, and that's all you have the interest for, and that's great. This could be a long-term goal for you. You don't need to rush into it. Or this could be something you need to happen in the next year, and you are willing and able to put in long nights or long days or whatever hours that you've got available in your day to accelerate this and try to get this off the ground as fast as possible. But in both of those scenarios, you are making forward progress. There's a running mantra that I love, and I remind myself of it whenever I'm feeling really slow, especially on a long run, which is forward is a pace. If I need to take a running break and walk it out for a little bit and I'm practically crawling at this pace, I'm still moving forward. I'm still working my way towards that mileage goal that I have that day. Forward is a pace. So, whatever that pace looks like for you, for your project, for your milestones, for whatever dream you have, the only way to ensure that it even has a remote chance of being successful is that you keep showing up, you keep putting in the work, and you are consistent with it week after week, month after month, year after year, whatever timeline you are looking at. So, with that, I'm going to leave you this week. And I hope I have inspired you just a little bit to get out there, not feel too late, because you're not too late. You are not too much. All you have to do is take just one more step. I'm Sam, and I'll see you next week on Super Awesome You.